These are the final renders for Blender Challenge 1918 Civilization. Along the way, people post their whips on the zerobio Discord and eventually get to a final render or renders, post those on the Discord as well, and then I put them in a video review like this. Here's the first render from a participant, and I just love this. It's so different. It's so different from something that I would create. Anyhow, it's very artistic. It's such a believable kind of a watercolorish kind of scene, with the trees, the vegetation, the landscape here, and various pieces of debris, and this crumbling ancient civilization architecture here, with some, pottery and stuff like that, pots and stuff like that strewn about. So just such a really nice, pleasant looking render. And there's always something different when people start these challenges and end up with a final render. I never know what we're going to get. A really beautiful perspective shot here through these temple ruins or whatever, with a great sense of scale. And look at the lighting on this as well. So this is another nice one. And here we have some, I guess, pyramids and some various structures. Now we can see that we were over here before for that image, and now you can see the grand scale of this with the water and the trees and the various pyramids in the sky. So another beautiful render of ancient civilization. And here's another view of it as well. So a very sprawling, large scale scene. Cool. And let's take the pyramid to the next level. This is some kind of a pyramid spaceship with quite a lot of intricate details on here. I'm not sure how a lot of this was done, whether it was done with normal mapping or what. Along the way, as people do post their whips, they often discuss their techniques and give some tips. So that's another reason why you might want to check out the challenges and the discussion that goes on behind them. All right, I like this because we've got this faded image in the background too. So it's not only the modeling and the texturing of the individual object, it's how it's presented, which makes it really unique. And we can zoom in and see some more of that detail. Look at these. Look at the detail here. So just very, very nicely done. Very nicely done. I believe this individual modeled the characters, which is something that I haven't done on my channel. That I haven't done characters since years ago when I used to use Lightwave 3D, and just haven't gotten into that. But anyways, here we can see another ancient structure here with these characters here, a number of different characters, giving a sense of scale to this as we enter into the temple here. And of course there's hieroglyphic work, there's characters, there's texturing. It's just beautiful, and this artwork along the wall there. So a lot of work goes into these, and that's why the challenges are often, around I don't know, 2, 3, 4 weeks long, and seeing the whips along the way, seeing how things progress to the final render is quite the process. It's quite interesting to me. And another view here that's showing the fire and showing some of this artwork along the walls. Just beautiful. There's so many possibilities, and I'd like to leave it that way when I say, okay, we're doing a challenge. This particular one, ancient civilization, and it's whatever you think of, whatever people come up with for this, and then the creative minds get down to work, and I never know what we're going to get. And here we've got this interesting character that seems to be in a lot of pain or agony around some ruins, and I can't quite tell which is what's going on, which leaves it to the imagination, which I think is really neat. So it's, again, a really moody render that leaves you wondering what is going on here exactly, and what was this person thinking. So beautiful cloud work, um, and and destruction going on with some other interesting structures that make me wonder: is this Earth? Is this some other planet? Is this the past? Although it's ancient civilizations, is it some kind of future ancient? Does that make sense? Probably not. But anyways, very, very interesting, very cool. This person decided to use the default cube, but we've got some displacement and some texture on the cube itself with these pod-like structures. Maybe they're discovering the original building block. I'm not quite sure, but that's so neat, and so unexpected, beautiful. And then, I remember when this person posted, said, is it okay for me to be in the challenge? Can I put this in? I'm thinking, absolutely. Look at this beautiful, beautiful temple, and the shapes and the colors that this person has chosen. I really love this. I love the form of this, the symmetry, the palette used. So yeah, I really encourage everyone to take part in the challenge, because we never know what we're going to get, what we're going to see, what your interpretation of the challenge will be. And that, I think, is what's most interesting to me, to see the different things that people will come up with. It's so fascinating, and that's beautiful. I mean, there's some intricate modeling going on here and attention to detail, and that's what I love that. Here we have the crocodile or alligator temple, and you can see that you'd, I guess, come in here and go into this thing, into this temple, the glowing eye and the fire. And I remember that the individual who created this asked me if they could post their video tutorial on the Discord. So if you look in the tutorial section, you can find a link to how this person made this, which I think is great as well. But we have a lot of really nice rocky textures on this, as this sort of mossy rock here as well. So again, a lot of detail and original thought that goes into these things. When someone says, okay, here's the challenge, it's ancient civilization, so what does that make you think about? And then you just model it. It's not like we all do the same piece of pottery or the same temple. Everybody uses their own creativity and does something, and I think that's fascinating, beautiful. Yeah, so like I say, here we go. Now, ancient civilization is some kind of a museum. It looks like a museum or gallery with some of that architecture that you would expect to see, I guess, in ancient civilization, in terms of the pillars. But we have beautiful tiled floor, and we have some of these priceless objects here, from an ancient civilization. And these posts, I think it's also interesting to me sometimes when I feel like I've had a little bit of influence, not much, but a little bit of influence on something. And these poles, whatever, I remember designing them in the Wolfenstein series that I did. And this person has sort of paid me a tribute, I think, anyhow. I mean, obviously, you'd see those in the museum. I didn't create them, but I did model something like that. And then they put them in, and that makes me feel like, oh, that's a little bit of a credit to me. Thank you very much. But they've taken the poles and put them there. Okay, that's my influence right there. And then they've gone and done this whole extra little bit. And we can see a little bit behind the scenes, there is something going on in these back rooms. Now, there was a story, and I forget what the story is, but you can see the tile, so we can see where we were into the back room. But this back room now is looking a little bit more futuristic and sci-fi with this kind of stuff going on. And we've got one other look as we zoom in closer to see. So I'm not sure what's going on, but it's very cool, nonetheless, with these glowing jars here, and we got the card. So there's been a lot of modeling detail that's gone into these, and people do put a lot of work into these things, and so they deserve to have their work showcased here. Look at this. This is really nice. Just scenes like this draw you in. Now, there's discussion on the Discord about the images as the whips are posted and the final renders, and so a lot of these have stories or they're inspired by particular movies or games. And I think me being a little bit older and busy with my kids and having been involved with teaching, I don't have the background that these people do, and I don't often know. You might be looking at this scene going, this is reminiscent of this particular game or movie, and I don't know these things, which makes it all the more interesting actually for me because it's kind of new. So anyhow, we have these pods or whatever you call these things, and we've got the worker here looking down this long corridor at all of this stuff, which is very detailed, and a little skeleton over here. So this is again a sort of an expansive, exciting, interesting scene of ancient civilization for me to look at, and I'm sure for you to look at as well. So beautiful stuff. And keep in mind that these images are, kind of scaled down for me to display them here. So you could, if you zoomed in on them at the proper resolution, you could see even more detail, things that have gone in, little things in the corner and stuff. And here we have something that I can relate to, given my age. We've got the Star Trek characters. We've got Kirk and Scotty and Spock from the original Star Trek here. Having gone back in time or landing on another planet with some mist and some interesting lighting and some beautiful rock texturing from this structure that's destroyed, and it's left to your imagination to wonder what's going on. They're just beaming in, it looks like here, and who knows what they're going to discover, what the backstory is for this, but I find it intriguing and just a very nice render. I love this kind of work, sort of I don't know exactly what you call it. I'm going to call it a diorama. It's sort of an isometric thing, but here we have this central structure, temple-like structure, prayer-like structure, with the steps coming up to the central dial here, and the vegetation around here and the crystals and the way things glow. We got like sort of glowing mushrooms, little glints off of the crystals with the starry background, and the artwork that goes on here as well. So making a really enticing, beautiful image that is so artistic and so creative. And here are some relics, I guess, from ancient civilization. And I remember watching this progress, and the individual who was making this, would model the pieces, and post whips, and people would comment on them. And so I got to see the models along the way. And obviously this person is very skilled at modeling, and you can see the details as they do the whips, and then to see it finally put together in a scene, in a final render, is really interesting. So here we have the pieces in the display case with some glass and some lights, and there's this gold material, and seeing it just like this brings it all together, but you miss sometimes what I saw in the whips when we would have just one piece, and you'd zoom right in on that one piece, and that one piece was interesting enough, and you put it all together. It's like, wow. You can see the whole thing. You can see how it all comes together, and you may not always appreciate how much work went into each individual piece, and even doing the plaques, how that was done. So let's come over here, and you can see we've got this embossed information here that this person has come up with on these nice wooden and metal textures, and even the texture for this. So a lot of stuff goes into these challenges, and even here the nice text here that's on this metal plate. All right, so you got a fabric there. So a lot of detail is paid to the modeling and the texturing, and just another angle to show that. Just looking, it's a really beautiful goldish bronze, whatever material or texture there. Beautiful stuff. Well, ancient civilization doesn't have to involve human beings. And here we have a scene that looks like it's from one of the alien movies, with the alien eggs all over the place. Now, these are not just simply arrayed. There's some randomness to this, with the mist, with what looks like depth of field, and that eerie lighting and beautiful beautiful texture to the liquid or plasma or gel or whatever that is down there, securing those eggs in that slimy mess. So that's cool. That's cool as well. And I think this came about around the time that I did an alien egg, and this person said, "Hey, I'm gonna do something similar, and just bring it up a level," because I did a tutorial on eggs, and I love how this has come together with this structure here that's kind of almost Geigerish, and yeah, alien civilization, which is often something that I said as a mistake when I talked about ancient civilization. I would say alien civilization by accident. So here we go. Now we're into some of the images that I created. I did a video showing some renders to this because I had a series. I always model the challenge as well, and then I show some renders, and so you may have seen some of these before, but this is my temple of some sorts, or hallway, whatever. Started out with the pillars and the walls and the arch here and the steps, and I just kept sort of adding to that, imagining that this would be a scene that where there were some archaeologists or something that had discovered this, with some things like hieroglyphics and stuff. And we're having a closer look at some of that stuff. This is another view. There is an alien tail here, so, and you can see the alien eggs as well. So we go back in time in what looks like a human place, but with an alien presence as well. So yeah, like I say, I did some hieroglyphic type stuff. So I did some of this texturing in Blender and some of it in Substance Painter. I just threw some hieroglyphics on the wall, like I said in a previous video of mine. It's not overly convincing. It looks like someone just wrote with a white marker or chalk on the wall. So I just left that there so we could see it. I thought it was funny. But we got some etching in stone, and we've got the typical things you would see, some of the pottery and stuff. It's not very run down or anything like that. I guess it's well preserved or well protected by maybe these aliens. And I've got some equipment here and there, so let's just look at a couple of views. So just zooming in on the hieroglyphic stuff, and this, which I think is a nice little model piece, very easy to do, and I did a tutorial, of course, on how to make that. And some of the stuff looks a little bit realistic, and some of it looks a little bit fake, and I like that. For example, I think I zoom in here and you can see the texture on this. I actually like when it looks fake. Sometimes I'm not going for realism. I mean, there's a lot of video tutorials on how to do like a realistic room or house, art, and I'm not interested in that. I see reality every single day of my life through my own eyes, and I want something that is not real in this case. So I've got my little tool here. I've got my hieroglyphics, the lanterns, the water, and all these pieces here in my scene. All right, and here's the alien tail just going in, just to remind you to maybe ought to get out of here, or maybe you got the equipment, there's no sign of any human life. And that's it for the challenge. All right, so the next challenge is Blender Challenge 20. It's already ongoing, and I've already finished mine. The topic is vehicle. I just say vehicle, and it could be anything. And judging by the whips, we're going to get some really interesting results for this. The due date is Saturday, June the 25th, which I believe is tomorrow, actually. So hopefully people will finish that up and get the final renders in, and I'll put them in a render review just like this. All right, and we'll move on to Blender Challenge 21. I can't believe I've already done 20 of these challenges. We'll move on to Blender Challenge 21, and we'll talk about how to vote for your favorite topic, and we'll do that soon. So thank you very much for being part of the challenge. Thank you for watching this video, and for supporting the people that have put their hard work into this. I encourage you to join the next challenge. I mean, it's only for fun, as you can see, and you get a chance to showcase your work on my humble channel. I hope you will also subscribe to the channel and come on back for my videos. I'm doing this for you, for fun, and that's it. So take care, everybody, and we'll see you again soon.